At long last, this is the final video in the 24 Hours of Lethal Company series, where I recorded Lethal Company for 24 hours and made a video based on each hour of footage. The series is finally over until I upload that compilation of all the videos together. And that's going to take so long for me to upload because it's probably 3 hours, which is a lot, actually. But please enjoy, and I'll see you in the compilation because that's probably going to be my next video, and goodbye. Now, last video, all I really did was I kind of talked about all the things I hated about V56, but since this is the last video in the series, I do just want to take a video to talk about what I actually like about the game, and it's a little bit weird, actually. Now, I would like to start this video with a little bit of some background information on my overall taste in games. Normally, I don't like games like Lethal Company. Kind of, I guess it's almost a roguelike. Not exactly, but similar concept. I don't like games like that where you die and restart, and I know in roguelikes there's some sort of progression. I like games with progression. I think literally every video on my channel, except for like freaking World Box, all the games I've played on my channel have some sort of progression. And this is actually why I stopped playing Minecraft, because once you beat the Ender Dragon and once you have Netherite, there's nothing left to do in the game. And I hate that because I love Minecraft as a game, but it's just not enough. Really quickly, I'm about to start ranting about quotas and stuff. Every quota that I talk about in this game is from a perspective of me playing with one single other person. This isn't with a full squad of 4, because I only play with one person now, because all my other friends think it's funny to jump off of the ship immediately and just kill themselves, except for one other one who I might make a video with soon. But I do just want to give some, context, because it might sound a little bit weird. And I would like to say, in my opinion, Lethal Company has 0 progression. I mean, what is it? You play, you get to, I don't know, quota 8 if you're alright, maybe quota 5 if you're not that good. And if you're really good, you get, quota 10, quota 12, quota 14, something like that. Maybe even quota 15 if you're super good at the game. But, I mean, the best I'd ever done with my friends is actually quota 11 we surpassed, and then quota 12 we got to, but then we had to quit our run because we lost so much money to rehosting. And that's another thing that I love about the game, is how it kind of draws you into it with the whole rehosting thing. I hate it because it's such a, you can't leave the game, but I love it because that's what makes the game interesting. It's how far can I play until I either give up because I can't keep playing anymore, or I'm just losing the game, which I love and also hate at the same time. But glitches that make me like the game even more aside, the game is very well crafted for a game with genuinely 0 progression. I mean, the way that restarting still affects your run that you're going into with I don't know, maybe you learned something, or maybe you know not to do this again, or that what you did last time was a great idea and you should do it more. The way that you learn throughout the game is really nice. My learning curve was not very nice. Basically what happened was, I wasn't able to play the game for almost a week, and before that, I don't know, maybe we could hit quota 6 or 7 if we were lucky, but, when you get to, quota 8, I think was our max before this, it's just not going to happen. We genuinely cannot do it. But now, or when I was away from my computer, I was like, I'm just gonna learn as much as I can about the game and be a professional at it. And I did that, and I'm not a professional, but I have learned, and now with my friend Ben, I can hit quota 10, or we can hit quota 11 together. On my own, I could probably hit quota 7. I don't know, I haven't tried any solo runs in a long time, but that might be a video. You never know. I don't even know if I could hit quota 7 on my own. My highest solo quota was like $500. But that's not important right now. It is just a beautifully crafted game. It's the atmosphere, the gameplay, how funny it can be sometimes. All together make just the perfect game, in my opinion. Which is not something you'll hear from me ever about a game without progression. That's why I liked Peaks of Yore so much. There was just almost infinite progression in the way that you can time yourself, you can get better at the game pretty much infinitely, and until you actually beat Solemn Tempest, the final mountain in the game, it's like an impossible mountain in front of you, literally an impossible mountain in front of you, that you don't think you're ever going to conquer until you do. But all that aside, I want to talk about some specific things about the game that I like. Starting with the first update I ever played in, Update 49. This is when the game was kind of fading off of its peak popularity, or when I joined, it was kind of fading off of its peak popularity. Because it was like, I don't know, Lethal Company was probably the most popular late 2023 and like a few days in January. Actually, no, most of January. So I was playing it at like the tailing off point of its most popular, which is like 20th, like end of January pretty much. But I still love the game either way, even though it's nowhere near as popular as it was before. Honestly, right now, I don't even know how many hours I have in the game. I'll go check. 143.4 hours. And before I got back from my break, where I couldn't play the game, about a week and a half ago, maybe at the most, I had 100 hours. So I've played 40 hours in a little bit over a week, which is probably a problem, honestly. But my favorite thing from version 49 was knowing nothing about the game at all. All my friends told me was that they kept yelling at each other because they would buy shovels and kill each other with them. And I also saw online that there was something called a Bracken that was very, very creepy. I knew nothing else about the game at all. And that's what made it so interesting. And that's why I liked V50 so much. I liked V50 so much because of how much it added to the game that I knew nothing about. Because, like, a few weeks before V50 released, I completely stopped playing the game, around 60 hours of playtime. And then Zeekers, a couple weeks later, comes out with this huge update, which I also didn't touch for a few weeks. I don't know why, really. I guess I didn't really know about it for a bit, but I didn't touch it, and then I was like, oh my god, now we have 2 Seeker Moons, we have a new moon, we have new creatures, we have just loads of stuff, obviously, with a massive update. And I loved that about the game, because it felt like, wow, I really have so much to do now that I can get better at. Which I just loved about the game, and how huge the update was. And now we're going to get into the actual reason why I didn't like V55. My last video was a little bit of a gimmick. I was just, shitting on this one thing from the update that I really didn't like. This is what I actually don't like about the update. I mean, I still hate the Kidnapper Fox, and the link to my petition to get it banned is in the description. But, it was more of, this update brought nothing, really. That's a lot of the things that I see in the comments, too. I mean, they made experimentation a difficult moon now. The indoor power level is 14. I mean, it's still pretty easy, but that's worse than it was before by a lot. It's an increase of 10 almost, I think. I'm not sure. But there was nothing in the update. There was like what, two creatures, a plant that did nothing, and the company cruiser. I mean, I can only imagine how hard it was to actually like make the company cruiser, because it's a complicated and very cool thing. But it just wasn't as much as you would expect. Like I expected from the other updates. Honestly, I expected the update to be huge, and it really wasn't. There wasn't that much to it. Um, the kidnapper fox. I mean, the models for the kidnapper fox are cool, and I used to like hate the barber with a passion because it's just a lump of purple, and now I hate the barber with a passion because it's a lump of purple. It's like the rarest creature in the whole game. So it's never even implemented. So there could be 100 bugs with it, and nobody knows because you can only see it if you go to Dine, and then it's still a low chance. So there's just so many things in V56 that really did disappoint me, and I think it also disappointed a lot of other people too. This is what Zeekers needs to do if he wants Lethal Company to keep what popularity it has left and actually gain some of the popularity that it lost. Number one, more updates like V50. Huge update, 2 Seeker Moons, which was just a brilliant idea. A new, just genuine moon filled out the whole thing with, there were only 2 Tier 2 moons, and that's solved now. Maybe for the next update, I don't know, add a 3rd Secret Moon. Now, I've only dabbled in game development a little bit. I am by no means a developer, so I barely even know how hard it is to do half of this stuff. But I know a little bit, and I know how difficult it can be. Like, I made a game called The Nine that I never actually released because I'm too young to, but also because it sucked, and I poured so much time into it, and it actually just sucked. It was terrible. And it was hard to make, too. But, I mean, like, add another Secret Moon, make 3 Secret Moons, 3 in each category, perfect. I don't know, add some new creatures that aren't overpowered. Like the Kidnapper Fox that kills you in one shot, spawns outside your ship a lot. I haven't played V56 in a bit, so I don't know if this has been fixed. But fix that, and don't add things into the game that are super rare, like the Barber, that, like, they're barely even a feature in the game at that point. Real quickly, this is me in the edit after I did all the commentary. I know that it's a lot to ask for like a moon in every update or something like that. And I'm not saying we need to release loads of updates within like a month, have an update that adds 2 moons to the game and 4 different creatures and 100 different scrap items that all have their own unique use. I'm not saying that. I would rather have more spaced out updates, like 2 or 3 months in between, that are just massive updates than like a bunch of really small updates in a row. And I feel like the main reason people don't like V56 is it was a very small update in such a long amount of time. But that's besides the point, because V60, as I'm speaking, releases in like a week. So I'll definitely make a video talking about that, because that's a huge thing. But if you do that, it's a good update. I don't know, maybe add some new loot items. I know that can't be too hard. I mean, look at the flask. It's literally just a circle and a cylinder on top of it. I mean, the texture's obviously a whole nother thing, but a lot of it is very simple, I think. I don't know, it could be freaking impossible to add 1 piece of scrap, but if that was true, there would be less scrap in the game, obviously. But I think just add more content to the game. This especially appeals to me because I like progression in games. And, the apparatus drill underneath the company building. Make that less of a gimmick that's just there and make it actually do something, which I know is a very hard thing to do because story's hard to write, it's hard to do things like that. And I'm not saying have a story where like you get to a high enough quota and then you leave or something, or you get an end to the game and then you can't play anymore unless you like restart the story. I'm not saying do that. Keep the element of you can play the game as much as you want, because that's an amazing part of the game. But having that really cool thing down there that does nothing and having such a deep story that totally amounts to nothing, it's just not great. And Lethal Company already has a very deep story if you look into it enough. And I feel like that can be pretty easily extended if you just like added some sort of progression to the game. Which I guess the bestiary is almost like, but that's a topic for another day. But thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you agree with me, because that'd be cool. And please go sign my petition to nerf the Kidnapper Fox. That thing is no joke, unless it's been fixed already. If it has, yell at me, please. It'll make me feel something.